Awesome.
All right, guys. Sorry about that. Here we go.
I want to make this interactive. I want to ask you guys some questions, but it's my goal when I was in my quiet time meditating and praying over you guys today. Today was to give you guys some ideas that would not make you feel good, not some ideas that would just have you leave with this idea that, oh, you know what? That was a good training. Those are good ideas. You know, I'll take care of them when I can. No. Today, I want to share some solid ideas that I believe will transform the paradigm of your business. And I really mean that. You know, most speakers and trainers are all worried about performing and looking the best on stage. You know what? I'm more concerned about getting my message across. And my message today is, write this down. It is impossible to build a business in an incline in a market that's going straight up. It is impossible to build a business in a good market. Absolutely impossible. That's the bad news. Here's the good news. In a declining market, or a market where agents are leaving the business, that's where you build your business. That's where you build it. I've been in it for 20 years. I've been a speaker and trainer for quite some time, and I have trained thousands of agents on the very ideas that I'm going to talk to you about today. Okay, so it's very important because right now, guys, 30% of the industry is going to be leaving the business. 30%. Do you know why 30% are leaving? Because we are leaving what you call a lead receiving market. And now we need to be moving into a lead generating market. Lead receiving versus lead generating. What the heck does that mean? That means that before, a lot of business was falling on our lap, right? There was a lot of people that want to buy. There was a lot of people that want to sell, but the market that we're moving in, let's say it's a little challenging right now, right? Put some challenges that you have in the chat box so I can hear from you. But right now there's more challenges. Would you guys agree with the show of hands? How many of you guys agree there's challenges right now? There's challenges. And the biggest part that we need to understand is we need to understand that we need to be willing. Now, think about this. We need to be willing to step into the fears and the apprehensions of the minds of buyers and sellers. We have to be willing to step into their suffering. We have to be willing to step into their conflict, the inner conflict they're having in their mind. We need to be willing to step into why they, you know, all that mental dialogue about whether right now is the right time to buy, whether right now is the right, we got to be willing to step into that. Has there been a time that you guys have wanted to make a big, yeah, please put your cameras on so I get some energy. Has there been a time where you got ready to make a big decision, but you had inner conflict, right? You had inner conflict, and you would step on the dealership in the afternoon, and then you'd get like swarmed by salespeople, right? Or then you had to go to the dealership at night and walk around and check out the cars because you didn't want to be bothered because you had inner conflict. You had to negotiate with yourself. The market that we're moving into, guys, we have to be willing to step into that in the buyers and sellers. We're going to need to be willing to meet them where they are and bring them where we're at. Does that make sense? We need to be willing to be a watchman that's like looking up. You guys see the old school ships where the guys would have these little tower. They would go up with their telescope, right? They'd be looking out and then they're reporting down to the people on the boat where things are at. That's where you need to be. You need to be a watchman for the market. You need to be a watchman for the real estate industry right now. Those are buyers and sellers and agents right now. I'm going to go over 3 words today that if you would just align these 3 words in everything that you do, it will change the paradigm for you. But before I do that, it's very important that we get a clear idea of what the market needs from us. The market does not need information, guys. The market doesn't need information. The market doesn't need us to tell them what their house is worth. The market doesn't need us to send them properties. The market doesn't need that. The market doesn't need information. The market needs insight. The market needs wisdom. The market needs perspective. When I say market, I'm talking about buyers and sellers. You don't need me for information. You don't need me to teach you how to sell homes. You can get that on YouTube, right? You need insight. Yes, would you guys agree you need some insight? You need some insight. You need some wisdom in order to navigate these waters. You need to know what to say no to and what to say yes to, where to focus your time, where to not. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, raise your hand. Okay, so here's the 3 words I promised. 3 words I promised. And I'm gonna look down at my phone because I got some notes because I want to make sure that I'm delivering. You guys, this is good so far? Is this good so far? Okay, perfect. Let's jump in. Number 1 is attitude. Man, Joey, I've heard that before. I know you've heard it. I never promised I was going to say something to you that you haven't heard. I promised I was going to give you guys some insight. So what do I mean by attitude? What is your attitude about today's market right now? What is it? What is your attitude about the market? Man, it's a hard time right now. Interest rates are high. Oh man, it's just, well, what's your attitude about the market? Oh, right now, I mean, there's no homes to sell. Man, you know what? I got 8 people on my list right now that want to buy and sell. Man, they won't make a move. They just won't do it. I'm waiting, they're waiting for the interest rates to come down. They're waiting for more. What's your attitude about the market that we're in? What's your attitude about rates? What's your attitude about inventory? Is your attitude based on your feelings or is it based on the numbers on the market? Because if we can't figure out what's going on here and we can't relay that to our buyers and sellers properly, we don't have the right attitude or perspective, or we don't see the market in the right set of lenses right now. Because I promise you guys right now, if you go on the market right now and you go into the sales, you'll see solds that happened this month, last month. You might see 150 sales. You might see 200 sales, 300 sales. What is our attitude around the market? If somebody says, and write this down, guys, if you can't get your attitude right, you're going to end up conveying that same thing to the market. So when someone says, Joey, is it the right time to sell? My question to them is, that's interesting. So are you considering on buying, selling, or investing? I hear people all the time, well, this is a great time to sell right now. Inventory is low. It's not necessarily a great time to sell. My attitude is that I need to look at somebody's situation, understand where they're at, and ask them, what makes you ask me why today is a good market? Because right now, I believe my attitude, it's always a great time to make a move if it's right for you. That's my attitude all the time. My attitude when I'm talking to buyers and sellers is I want to give them insight. My attitude, I want to give them wisdom and insight about the market that, man, if they don't decide to sell or buy for 5 years, they're going to come back to me because I gave them a perspective that nobody else has given them. Does that make sense? But it's important for you to have the attitude that right now is a great time to buy if it's right for you, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer. Right now is a great time to sell if it's right for you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Does that make sense? We're going to move into the second word. The second word is approach. That's the second word. It's got to have a good attitude. The second word is approach. The approach we have going on in this market right now, guys, is your approach is we need to move away from working with people that want to buy and sell. Stop working with people that want to buy and sell. Because people that want to buy and sell are going to abandon the process with a hangnail. You guys agree? Something happens. They get a flat tire in their car. They're going to abandon the process. Our approach is we need to move into curiosity and away from judgment. What does that mean? It means talking to buyers and sellers. Our approach must be when we have a buyer and seller in front of us, we're looking for reasons to choose not to work with them instead of for reasons to work with them. That's our approach. That's what our approach is going to need to be moving into this market. The old market that we left, if we talk to 10 people about wanting to buy or sell, we might sell 8 of them out of 10. Yes or no? In the market we're coming into right now, we need to define their motivation. We need to move from people that want to buy and sell to people that need and have to buy and sell. Your world will change, guys. I'm telling you, the temperature of your business will change. It is not our job to convince people to buy. It is our job to lead people that need and have to buy. It is not our job to convince people to sell. It's our job to lead people that need to and have to sell. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I'm just curious, what happens if you don't find a home? Well, what do you mean? Well, what happens if you don't find one? Well, you don't think I can find one, Joey? No. I'm just saying, what happens if you don't find one? No, I absolutely, I have to. You don't understand. I have 4 kids. We're in a 3-bedroom, and our house, I mean, it is chaos. My wife and I, we get into fights. The only time we have peace is when we're having a weekend on our own, because there's not 6 of us in the same house. We're an 1,100 square foot home. And I'm afraid if I don't get this done, I don't know how well my marriage is going to continue with my wife. I got to get something, man. Okay, I get it. He's where he's at. Well, what happens if you don't buy? Well, it's okay if I don't buy. I'll just wait. I'll just wait. Matter of fact, I've been looking for 4 years. Oh, you have? Is that a buyer you want to work with? Say no. Say no. So our approach must be, we must be curious. How motivated are they? Because the problem is, a lot of us, we don't want to ask those questions, guys, because we're afraid we don't have a buyer and seller at the end of it. Does that make sense? Do you think, in the chat box right now, do you think your life and your business would be easier if you shifted just that one shift? If you shifted from people that wanted to do something into people that need and have to, the game will change for you guys. If you ask any people that are any top performer that sells tons of homes, they have maybe a handful of people at one given time that they're working with. A handful of people. You don't ask them and they go, well, I have 37 leads. 29 of them are on drip systems and I'm calling them every week. No, they're looking for new people. They're looking for new people. Does that make sense? Okay. Our approach must be moved now. And here's another perspective. That's one perspective change. One perspective change. The next thing is we need to realize that our job is not to sell homes. Our job is to solve problems. And when we look at ourselves as a person who solves problems, repeat after me. I am a solution. I am a solution. You are a solution to a buyer and seller's problem. You are the solution. But we get so tied up with the moment someone says they want to buy or sell, we're moving into, let's show them homes. Let's get them pre-qualified. Let's figure out what their home is. No, we're a solution. We're a solution. If that's the hat we're wearing, what are we doing? We're serving. Write this down. When you turn yourself over to the service of other people, you'll be given the right ideas, thoughts, and approaches to serve the person in front of you. But we're so focused on selling that we're not solving the problems that they need. We need to, we said it earlier, we need to step into their fears. We need to be willing to step into their fears. We need to be willing to step into their apprehensions. Hey, I understand, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Let me give you an example. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, when we sell your home, this is kind of how we do it. Well, what do you mean? Well, today, what's the date today? Today is May 30th. So since it's May 30th, if you decide to list your home with me today, then I'm probably going to ask for about 2 weeks of pre-marketing. I'm going to get it all drafted. I'm going to share my whole team. I'm going to build a whole marketing package just for your home. And then after that, I'm going to give you a to-do list. I'm going to walk around you. I'm going to hold you by the hand. I'm going to walk you around the home. I'm going to show you all the different things that I'm going to recommend you get done to your home, because there's certain conversations in the minds of the buyer that we want to control when they're walking through the home. So we're going to do all that. And then about 2 weeks from today, we're going to go live on the market. Based on the market reports, we'll have about 2 weeks worth of marketing before we find a buyer for your home. So that takes us from May 30th to almost the end of May, from May 30th to almost the end of June. 2 weeks of pre-marketing, 2 weeks of on the market. That's 1 month. And then after that, I'm going to negotiate probably a 30 to 60 day rent back. So let's just say 45. So that takes us from May 30th, right, to August 21st. So realistically, if you choose to list your home with me and we sell it today, you probably won't have to be out of this house until May 21st. Now, why would I do that? Because my approach is to take the worry off of them. My approach is to help them with stress. My approach is to help them avoid overwhelm. You ever had somebody list a home and 3 days later call you and tell you they don't want to sell? They're all freaked out because you listed the home. They got on, they talked to their husband, their daughter spilled stuff all over the hardwood floor. This happened, that they're in overwhelm. So I do that Because I want to get them expectations going, guys, you're going to be in your home for at least another 2 months. At least another 2 months. Why? Because I'm stepping in their fear. Why? Because I see my approach as being a solution to their problems, a solution to their fear, a solution to their overwhelm. Is this good? Is this good? Okay. It's important that we make that shift. The fears are there. The overwhelm is there. But my approach is to serve at the highest level. My approach is to be curious and figure out what problems do they know they have, and what problems do I know they have, and how well of a solution am I to those problems? That's my approach. When you do this, I'm telling you right now, when you adopt this perspective, it doesn't matter whether you talk to a client for 2 weeks or 2 years afterwards. I'm not recommending it. A client will call me back because they remember my experience. A client will call me back because they understand that I approach with the desire to want to serve and be a solution to their problems. So when Zillow calls them and says they'll list it for 1%, they're like, you know what? I got to have that same service I had with Robert last time. I'm not going to, it's not worth it to me. Robert gave me when I signed the final settlement check, it was worth it. I would do it all day long. My approach is always to outlove the competition. My approach always, write that down, outlove the competition. Guys, love is the #1 business strategy. My job is to outvalue the competition. That's my approach. That's my approach. When you say you need to, and you say you have to, I'll write some checks. I'll write some checks. I'll invest money in selling your home. I'll invest money in helping you buy a home because you said you need to and you have to. There's a strong enough motivation there, but my approach is to outserve the competition. Love is the #1 business strategy. That's important that you realize that. Let me get some more notes here. Man, I just started. It's only been 10 minutes. I feel like it's been a lot longer than that. Okay. Now, let's jump back into that whole lead generating that we talked about a minute ago. I gave you kind of some ideas. I'm sprinkling some ideas. I know I'm all over the place. I'm Italian and Portuguese. If I didn't have this camera, I'd probably be running around the house like crazy because I'm on fire, because I'm passionate and excited about what I'm teaching. But guys, it's very important that you make the decision. You make the decision to outvalue your competition, because as this market continues to change, 30% of the people are leaving the industry. This is your time to shine. This is your time to shine. And when you are really particular about who you're choosing to work with, serving is easy. When they're motivated, serving is easy. When they have to and they need to, serving is easy. But when you're working with people that want to, that don't allow you to lead them, you don't have your ICP, which is your ideal client profile. I'd write that down. Who is your ideal client profile? Who is it? Are you approaching your business with that kind of intensity? See, I believe that most agents they tolerate the leads that are in front of them. They tolerate them. If you're tolerating the leads in front of them, how do you serve people that you just are tolerating? How do you serve people that you're tolerating? Is it exciting to serve people that we tolerate? Yes or no? It is not. I'm sorry, guys. It is not good to serve
not at all
that we're tolerating, right? Right? But guess what? If we're not looking for people that need to buy or sell, we're not willing to generate, we are tolerating. Write that down. If I don't generate, I have to tolerate. But if you decide to generate leads, if you decide to be a lead generator, right? You decide to go out every day looking for people that have problems and wanting to find solutions to those problems. If you generate, you don't have to tolerate. If you generate, you don't have to tolerate. What does that mean, Joey? I teach the 6-Figure Agent Open House. It's a program that I teach, right? And just to give you guys a backstory, I was selling tons of homes. I had a huge team. I had 23 agents on my team. And, I made, it was close to 7-figure income. But you know what? I got a divorce. It was bad. I just didn't have time for my family. So it was really rough. So I developed what you call the 6-figure agent open house, right? And in that stuff, in one weekend, we would generate anywhere from 80 to 150 leads in one weekend. 80 to 150, not leads, excuse me. We would generate 80 to 150 people walking through our 6-figure agent open house, period. And each day with my team, we would generate anywhere from 8 to 12 appointments in an open house, appointments. Now I'm dropping gold right now, guys. But here's the thing. My approach was, when I was done setting the appointment, I was deciding whether or not I was going to move forward. So your approach in this business is you can set the appointment, you can continue generating, but you're looking for the cream of the crop. Because when that's the approach that you're looking for, you're looking for highly motivated people. I would tell you right off the bat, I help people buy homes within 5 to 7 days. If that scares them, that's okay. I'd rather polarize them and with my first contact than have to spend time with them and tolerate. Does that make sense? So I really caution you. I'm spending a lot of time on the word approach for a reason. Our approach must change where we're at. The approach is going to need to change. What does that mean? Identify the key areas. Identify three key areas that you would most likely, here's your takeaways. Write this down. Write down 3 key areas that you want to focus on, that you will be more apt to find people that have to and need to sell. Find 3 key areas and focus on those areas. Next piece is we need to make the decision. Our approach needs to go from being an order taker to a consultant. When we had back in 2008, when I was in the market back then, which we're not experiencing that right now because we don't have a lot of inventory, but it's going to change. We're going to end up getting a lot more inventory as soon as we start moving along. I really believe as interest rates start to come down, you're going to see a lot of sellers that are on the fence that are really going to be like, oh my gosh, we better run. It's a sprint, right? But we have to move from being an order taker to a consultant. Too many agents out there right now are order takers. I just want a great home. I just want to find a great home. Great. They get them in the car and they take them out. Is that what we're doing? Or do we have a solid rock star buyer's consultation and we're leading them on the road? We're showing them what they can expect with working with us, right? And then we're giving them a clear idea of what home they can expect to get in the market they're choosing to buy in. That's my approach. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, Mr. and Mrs. Client, what clients like you have found useful in the past is we spent about 30 minutes together. I share with you you guys can go on mute, please, because we're getting a little interaction there, a little bit of interference. So my approach is to be a consultant versus an order taker, right? So if they're not willing to sit down with me and do a consultation, they're not willing to get an idea what's going to be like to work with me, they're not willing to sit down and let me put their finger on the pulse of the market, where I can educate them, where I can give them a clear idea as if they invest $600,000, this is the home that they'd expect to get. If they're not willing to do that, guys, they're not my person. When I'm talking to a client, if I just sense for a moment that they're not interested in following my lead, it's okay. You know what I do? I gently take the hook out of the mouth of the fish and I gently put them back in the water. If you begin to operate your business with that mindset, it's going to change. It will have such a drastic point. So, you know what? Look at the area. So when someone says that they want to buy and they're looking at, spending $600,000, and you know darn well they're not going to get their home for $600,000. They're not going to get the home they're looking for. They're more like a $750,000 buyer. Do you pretend to not know what you're hearing? Or do you get them on the computer and show them a 2-week to 30-day analysis on that exact zip code they want, that exact subdivision they're looking for, and show them what people have bought for $600,000? If we did that ahead of time, would we be educating our client? If we did that ahead of time, would we be helping them? Will we be helping what they want and the market expectations align in that area? Would it align, right? What they can get and what what they want to spend and what the market can give them, we're aligning those two together. Too many people are are order takers and not sales consultants. We need to become a consultant. We need to be asking powerful questions. That needs to be our approach. Curiosity means asking questions. Curiosity means it gets so uncomfortable in the beginning, but when you ask enough questions, you're able to uncover what's truly important. You're able to not only solve the problems they're looking for, but you're also able to solve the problems you know that need to be solved. And last word is expectations, attitude, approach, and now we're going to move into expectations. What do you expect from your business right now? What do you expect from the market right now? What do you expect? Do you expect that there are more people out there that want to buy or sell than people that have to or need to? Is that what you expect? Because I promise you that's going to be the case. Is your expectation saying, if I talk to 100 people, if I talk to 100 people in a given time, I'm going to find 3 to 5 people that have to and need to sell? Is that an expectation? Stats show that. Stats show out of every 100, 3 to 5 people truly have to and need to sell. Is that what you expect? Are you uncomfortable with, are you expecting that you're going to have to let go of more business than you take? I'll tell a client right off the bat, you want to sell that property for $600,000. I mean, I'm seeing it's probably worth about $540. You know, be honest with you, Roberto, I would rather turn you down than let you down. Well, what do you mean? Well, I mean, if your expectation is 600,000, Roberto, I'm not your guy, because I don't find any, I mean, because my opinion doesn't matter. What matters is what the market is telling me. And the market is telling me right now that it's impossible for me to get that number for you. That's what the market's telling me. My opinion doesn't matter. So do I expect to gain the client, or do I expect to make sure to see if we're on the right page? Or do I expect to figure out whether or not they are fitting my profile? Make sense? Next. Is your expectation that there's people out there right now that need you, that actually need you, that aren't going to try to just look at you as some runner, and they're going to want to do all the work, and they think that they're smarter than you right now? Because a lot of our market, you know why the buyers and sellers think they're smarter than us, is because that's how we teed it up with them. Our internet friends have helped us to understand, help the market to understand, well, you don't need those guys. You can do it your own. You can value your property. I'm going to give you homes, right? And then they look at us as order takers, because that's how we've operated. Okay. Next thing to expect. You need to expect that you don't have all the answers. You need to expect that you don't have all the answers. But what you do have with Roberto is you have access to a community that has all the answers. You need to expect that you will never have all the answers. You need to expect that you need to be in connection with a community that has all the answers. You need to expect with blind faith that if you're willing to work on your skill set, and when you're looking at trying to improve what you do on a daily basis, you need to expect that you can double your business in a declining market. You can double your business in the market we have right now. A lot of agents right now are getting real jobs, guys. They're going out getting real jobs. I'm not trying to de-edify a job, but your expectation needs to be you can double and triple your business. And that's a fact. Because if every day you're out there and you're doing something to improve your attitude, whether that might be reading a positive book, maybe that might be getting connected on a Tuesday morning for Roberto's Level Up, right? But your expectation, when your attitude is in that right perspective and you see things and you're not allowing the market to determine how you feel, right? And you have an approach to want to serve and help. You have an approach that says, I'm okay with saying no to that buyer. I'm okay with saying no to that seller. When that becomes the approach, and when you expect, here's what I need us really to understand. We need to expect to get the results that we get for the work that we put in. That's what we need to expect. What does that mean, Joey? Well, what do we really have control over? I think a lot of us believe that we have more control over things that we don't have control over. Do we have control over interest rates? Say no. Do we have control over do we have control over a buyer on whether or not they're going to buy or sell with you? No. Right? Do we have control over what we say? Say yes. Do we have control over how many people we say it to? Say yes. Do we have control over how we approach people? Say yes. Right? That's what we have control over. You know, one of the thoughts that really has a righteous anchor in my belly, in my gut, is a lot of the coaching and training companies out there right now, because they charge us thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And they tell us, well, you got to lead generate every day. You got to lead generate between 9 and 11 every day. I was a single dad with a 6-month-old boy. Can I lead generate from 9 to 11? Say no. Guys, this is your business. What you can expect is, how do you want to design it? How do you want to design your business? In the next 2 minutes, I'm going to give you some ideas, because I want you guys to thrive. My mission statement for anybody in my community is that we become wealthy in all areas of our life. That's what I expect. I expect to be wealthy in my family. I expect to be my kids and my wife's biggest fan. I don't want everybody else to like me in the world and have my wife and my kids hate me. I expect that. I expect to build my business, my life. This is my life. I expect to build my business around my life, not my life around my business. I expect that. I expect that. Get a calendar out, fresh slate. Well, Joey, I already did that. It was January. Get a calendar out now. Get a new calendar out and write all your big rocks. Write all your big things. Family time, time for faith, time for working on your skills, time for activities that make you feel alive. Build your schedule around that. Because if you don't build your schedule around that, how are you going to have a good attitude? I'm asking you. If you're all work and no play, how are you going to have a good attitude? Too many of us work 7 days a week. Right? Too many people work for this phone. Mm-hmm. This phone, we don't work for this phone. This phone is a tool that works for us. Make sense? That's what I expect. I expect to build my business around my life. Right? But the good news is, guys, you have the right people around you. You got Roberto. Every one of you has greatness inside of you. Every one of us has every one of you has greatness inside of you. Every one of you said yes to a business that's 100% commission. Every one of you said, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. There were times early in the game, if I sat still long enough and kept telling myself that I was only going to get paid if I sold something, I got all freaked out and almost went to go get a job. But stop thinking about that. Seriously, you guys all said yes to a business that's 100% commission. And that makes you already that top 1 to 2%. Now I just want you to take control of your life again. I want you to take control of your perspective again. I want you to take control of your attitude again. And remember why you got in this business. You got in this business because you want to be free. You got in this business because you want to provide a better time for your family. You got in this business because you wanted to be your own boss. You wanted to own your own business. You got in this business because you wanted to create wealth. Yes? Right? Let's get back to basics, guys, because that's what's going to allow you to thrive in these challenging times. Because when you have the right attitude, when you have the right approach, and you expect the things that can be expected, it's a game changer for you guys. I don't work weekends anymore. I don't. And when on the weekends, my wife still laughs at me because I want to go somewhere, because that's what I used to have to do. I'd have to leave. So if somebody want to call me and see a home, I couldn't leave to go show them a home because I was 2 and 3 hours away, right? Or a seller wanted me to do something for or whatever. You know what? My approach was, man, I'm not going to break up another family because of this business. I'm going to love on my wife. I'm going to love on my kids. I'm going to love on the people that want to be loved on. I'm looking for buyers and sellers that are looking for me, that appreciate me. Make sense? Hope you guys have found this useful. Any questions or comments you want to open up? I know I went a little over. I'm Italian and Portuguese. I have a tendency of talking a lot. So if there's any questions or comments you have for me, I'd love to be able to serve more if possible.
I just want to say, Joey, thank you. It's really important to have the right attitude, because whatever attitude we project to the clients, they kind of feed off of that. If we show that we have fear in them purchasing, like the market might shift, like it might not be the best time for you, then they're like, you know what, this guy is right. And if you say, you know what, it's actually a really great time, this is something really good for you that will benefit your family, you're also right. So just, we have to have that confidence as well as agents, and it's like your kids. The kids feed off of what you do. Same with your clients. So attitude, very important. One other thing that I got from this, Joey, is that yes, there's a lot of agents leaving, right? 20, 30, 40%, whatever it is, depending where you're at and all that good stuff. And that just leaves. So if the market declines 30% and you're one of the agents that stays, then the market basically is the same thing, right? Because 30% of the agents are gone. So the 30% that dropped, the agents that are left behind should be able to really not feel a big shift in their business. So that's where, if you really double down on your activities and do the stuff you need to do, your business is going to grow. And if you nurture those leads correctly, right? This is where the term farming comes into play. If you nurture those leads, fast forward 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months of nurturing, this market shifts. If you're in front of these clients, who are they going to go talk to? If Araceli's talking to them, Ashley's talking to them, Cindy's talking to them, Juan's talking to them. If you guys are talking to these clients, who are they going to turn to when it's time to do business? They're not going to just look for someone. You're already there on their front door, knocking on there and saying, hey, I can help you out. So I applaud you guys for being here. Joseph, great information. I'm not sure if anybody has any other questions as well.
I have a question, Robert.
Cindy.
So thank you so much for that. It's helped me a lot, because I've been actually thinking about this topic for a month without even knowing today's topic would be about this. Everything that he said, I struggle with, work really hard 7 days a week. And what I've been trying to do is get the ideal client. That's what I'm working on. But I think I'm lacking in the questions to ask, or maybe if there's questions that you can share or just with us that will better questions to ask, or just how to filter them out, to be able to spend a little bit more time with my family versus working 7 days a week. That would be helpful. I'm not sure if you can share those, maybe a sheet that you use, I don't know, something that would help.
Sure. Yeah. If Roberto shoots me an email just asking for some scripts, I can send you guys some scripts for that. Okay.
Yeah, I'll get together with Joseph, Cindy. We'll get a script together. We can pass it around and talk about it a little bit more as we go. And here's something else we can do, guys. Like Cindy, I'll reach out to you and I'll help you out with fine tuning that part of your business, because it is important. If we have so much business and we're selective, let's say like Joey was talking about the 100 or 6-figure open house he was doing, right? If you have 20 leads come through on one weekend, 10 leads or 5 leads, you could choose, I want to work with these 2-3 leads during the week and I'm off on the weekend. So if we have all that abundance of business, we can be selective. So and that's where we want to get, guys. There's so much business out there. If there's 20 of us on this call, 30 of us on this call, compared to the thousands of agents that out there, there's plenty of business for us. So yeah, Cindy, I'll get together with Joey and get that for you guys.
Thank you. It was so helpful. I really enjoyed today.
You're welcome. Okay, guys. Well, listen, God bless you guys. And hope you guys to see you soon. Robert, thanks again for having me today. And yeah, go, talk to you guys soon.
Guys, I'm going to share a quick video. And then Joseph, I don't know if you want to do a little prayer as we exit this call.
Sure,
and then
sure. I have to run for a meeting, but I'll pray over you guys. Absolutely. So Lord, I thank you so much for everybody on this Zoom right now. Lord, I thank you for their hearts. Lord, I thank you for the desire. Lord, every one of them came with a need. Lord. Excuse me, every one of them came with a want. Every one of them came with a want, just as the beggar in the front had a want for change and was asking Peter in the book of Acts 2. He says, do you have change? You have change. And Peter said, I don't have silver, but what I do have, I'll give you. And he got him up and asked him, get up and walk. So the Lord has something for all of you guys that he wants to exchange what you want for what you need. So Abba, I just ask in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth that you would bless everyone on this Zoom with what they need. That, Lord, that you would grant them wisdom. It's written in James 1:5 that you give wisdom to all that asks without finding fault. Lord, I declare and decree wisdom over everybody on this call. Lord, I just thank you so much for everyone. I thank you for their families. I thank you for their businesses. I thank you for their finances, Lord. And I just ask that you would just release a blessing and favor over everyone here, Lord. That every seed that was planted in their hearts today, in their hearts, Lord, that you would plant, that you would protect that seed. And that seed would be a seed of change, a seed of transformation, Lord, that they would not leave this call with fascination, but they would leave this call with transformation, Lord. And I declare and decree over that everyone on this Zoom in Jesus' name, amen.
Joey, last guys, I want to share this video, and we're gonna leave you with.
You want to go run? You go run. You don't want to go swim? You go swim. You don't want to make your bed? You make your bed. You don't want to clean your house? You clean your house. You don't want to study? You can study. That's how you start to callous your mind. It's going to suck. It's not going to be fun. Do something that sucks every single day of your life. That's how you grow.
We got to do something we don't want every day of our life. We have to do the prospecting, make the calls, be present, guys. The next week, I'm going to see if we can have our affiliates on board where we can talk about what title companies do for us, what insurance companies do for us, how we leverage our lenders. All the affiliates that are around us, they reach out to us for business. And if you really think about it, the people up front in the real estate industry are the agents. The clients go to the agents direct the clients to the title companies. Clients come to the agents, we direct them to the lenders, we direct them to the contractors, we direct them to the home warranties, we direct the clients to wherever they have to go. We don't tell them where to go, but we can direct them in that direction. They need a home warranty, they need a title company. So let's see how we can leverage that to turn it into business. All right, guys, it's over 10 o'clock. Thank you guys for being here. We'll see you guys next week. We'll make sure to make this easier for you guys to join us. Okay. Thank you guys very much. See you next week.
Thank you.